AskReddit. What did that kid in your school get expelled for? High school. He had just come back from suspension. He had brought in a dummy grenade he picked up somewhere. He stands up in the middle of class and yells he's going to kill everyone. Then pulls a pin and rolls it down the aisle. Teacher jumps up and dives on the grenade without pause. Expelled. Teacher later became the vice principal. He drew over 1,000 pictures of Dixie on a separate sheet of paper and then proceeded to skip down the hallway during class and toss them all over the school. When he was brought into the office, they showed him a picture of him doing it. He asked the principal if he could keep the picture as a memory. Went to kindergarten with a kid named Marshall who was always getting in trouble until one day they finally just kicked him out of school for spraying a fire extinguisher all over the room and somehow getting his own human shit in no fewer than 9 cubby holes where we kept our lunches. You have to be a goddamn rockster to get kicked out of kindergarten. Okay, so we were in the middle of class that took place on the 5th floor of our school and there was this kid who in the middle of class stands up, goes to the window, proceeds to open it and jumps off. The entire class watched his terror and the teacher just stood there for a second in disbelief of what she had just witnessed. In reality the kid jumped on a ledge under the window as some sick prank to make us think he just suicided. He got expelled in the following week, and we had to list it to our counselor for a week about why stuff like this isn't funny and why suicide is bad. A guy at my secondary school, rural Scotland, built a homemade pipe bomb and brought it in to show his science teacher. School was evacuated and a bomb squad from Edinburgh had to be called OU. He pulled his dick out and rubbed it on this girl's back and he just wouldn't stow. When I was a junior in high school, the senior prank that year was to steal all the science videos from the office, all VHS, and record porn onto them at various parts, then return the tapes. For years, teachers would be putting on tapes about fossil fuels or mitochondria or crepuscular carnivores and 20 minutes in boom dick in an acid full volume. Science department finally gave up trying to find them all and just threw them all away. The year of the prank the student who organized it was expelled because someone spilled the beans. Smoking a bong in the middle of the playground. She pinned a girl against a wall and stared at her crotch saying dinner time or I'm hungry, something along those lines. She was just really weird and I do legitimately think she was mentally ill. There was a kid in the school who was notorious for not showering. It was absolutely disgusting. But he didn't exactly have the best home life so no one was really gonna say anything. One day, the kid sitting behind him decided to light the no shower's greasy hair on fire. It went up like a fireball and the smell that ensued would make an onion cry. Needless to say, the kid with the lighter didn't make it through the rest of the day. Went to an all-guys Catholic high school. One of the teachers was trying to become a deacon or something and had to videotape himself hosting a service. He taught religion. So he used a class period to take his students to the chapel and record his service. He had to go back to the classroom for something, and one of the kids got up and began desecrating everything. Mock blowjobs of the candles, humping the crucifix, fake sermons, the whole 9 yards. The kid returns to his seat before the teacher ever gets back and all the students don't say anything. The camera was rolling the whole time. We had one kid get expelled for punching the vice principal in the face. The vice principal later got fired for sexually harassing the female students. Face puncher was and still remains a hero. I'm not even joking. Stealing water. He threw a hammer at a student, narrowly missing another student, and lodging it in the wall. They'd been tossing plastic cutlery at him, and he'd had enough. Honestly, they were poking a sleeping bear because he'd made it clear from the day he arrived that he had some sort of mental condition that made him a compulsive liar, but in the terrifying way. Like he told me directly about how he murdered his own mother, a lady who regularly dropped him off at school so lie, with a screwdriver. People at my school were very dumb. But he got expelled immediately. Recording himself jerking off and leaving the VHS tape in the AV room. This is a weird one. Preface this by saying this kid was on borrowed time. He had a history of being a jackass, but was a really funny kid. So it's early junior year, and it's lunchtime. 2 people jokingly said to Kevin that they would pay him $60 to piss his pants. Money talks, and he stood up from his seat and within moments pissed his pants. They recorded the event and the video was passed around the school. Maybe a day or two later he was called down to the office and was promptly expelled for whatever reason. The kicker here is that the two kids never paid up their money until the disciplinarian forced them to pay Kevin instead of detention. High school, senior year. He was the stereotypical computer geek / pocket protector kid. Very smart, generally quiet, was nice but awkward. He somehow found a way to access the part of the school's storage network where teachers could save their files. He made copies of thousands of quizzes, tests, answer keys, etc. Lots were from his US history teacher, but I was told he had stuff from most teachers. He sold copies of answer keys and exams to kids. Eventually someone told the school administrators. They contacted the police, and while he was at school one day they went to his house with a warrant and confiscated his computers. Arrested him when he came home. Teachers were pissed. Every compromised test had to be remade. Hundreds of hours of work for his history teacher, who had to remake all his lesson materials for the year over again. They threatened him with the possibility of being prosecuted as an adult, that each file was its own felony, and he was looking at 1,000s of charges. This was ultimately to just get a plea deal, which was something like a lot of community service, expulsion from that school, and probation. I think if he made it through probation it would all end up sealed or something. Threatening to bring his dad's gun to school to kill all the preps and jocks, and also having a hit list in his locker. It was the last week of 8th grade. This kid named Damien threw a carton of milk at a dean. The dean yelled, "Damien, you are expelled." He ran off, and I never saw him again. This kid wanted to drop out of school, but his parents wouldn't let him. Told the principal that there was a gun in the bathroom, airsoft, and once he and principal and vice principal arrived at the bathroom and police were called, he told them that he brought the gun into school. Put a porn VHS in class when he knew we were gonna be having a chill day. Hid the remote in his pants. So the teacher was kinda freaking out. Don't know why the teacher didn't think of unplugging the TV. He then turned off the lights and threw a desk at the teacher. There was a super senior at my high school. Each super indicates the extra year you stay at high school, so this dude was already in his 6th year of high school. I was a freshman when I met him. I was a junior at this time I'm referencing. He brings a shuriken during lunch. He demonstrates how he was learning how to throw one. He throws it at a wall and it just bounces off and lands at a different lunch table. Fortunately, no one was harmed. Unfortunately for that dude, the people at the table got very upset and yelled loud enough to get the school security guards' attentions. Yes, we had school security guards. The next week, I hear he got expelled. I would see him again as a super senior during my senior year. The worst part is, I don't remember seeing him during graduation. A kid in my high school brought an airsoft gun in his truck on the one day of the year that my school decided to perform a modified lockdown, which is really just a different way of saying we are searching your shit for drugs. So he gets called outside to unlock his car so that the police can further analyze this obviously fake, see-through plastic toy gun. And what do? Payday fellas, we got exactly what we were looking for. Poor kid got expelled. I will never forget sitting in chemistry with the windows open at the front of the school when he drove by in his truck screaming F***CK high school's name. His adopted mom was a 7th grade teacher. Doesn't really mean anything, but just an interesting bit of information. Implying God wasn't real. He went on to be a core member of Valve, so it worked out. One chick in my school gave weed brownies to a teacher. He made an effort to get in shape. He joined the gym/workout/weight training class that just happened to have a lot of the football players in it. He was constantly bullied by a few. Even though the more respectable players stepped in at time, it wouldn't stop. After 2 swirlies in 2 days, he brought a knife to school. Cue the 3rd swirly. He pulls a knife and they stop. Expelled. Nothing happened to the bullies. Right after the Virginia Tech shooting, one kid wrote "Vatek today" in a bathroom stall. They gathered everyone into one assembly, which was the stupidest thing possible, and placed the school on lockdown. The kid didn't have a gun or anything. He just wrote it because teenagers and impulse control. But we made CNN. I have a second channel called ManyHD where I upload even more AskReddit videos. Check it out, link is in the description.